How's it going, everyone? We are here to talk about some things that have to do with DFS. I'm not going to reveal what we're talking about until we get into it, but you're going to like it, and it's going to be fun. How's it going, Jason?
It's going good. Doing DK quarterbacks today.
Oh, okay. Well, you ruined the surprise. If you didn't know it was DK quarterbacks by the picture we have and the title of the YouTube video, then you know, I don't really know what to say. Cash game quarterbacks. Andrew the Giant Luck. If you listen to the BS report, Cousin Sal and Bill Simmons talk about Andrew the Giant and how he's like how his voice sounds like a wrestler voice. And then you got Randy Tom Savage, and they were just doing the Macho Man voice. What a division rivalry! Unbelievable. Anyway, Andrew Luck versus the Raiders, 7K. Really just an easy cash game option, I think.
Yeah, I like the Colts this week. I mean, near 25 team total, must win. I mean, basically, there's a couple guys teams with must win situations this week, so be focusing in on a few of them. You look at Luck. I mean, came away with 2 touchdowns last week against Minnesota. Has been relatively consistent in terms of DK points: 19, 19, 29, 19, and 14 over the last 5 games. There's always a couple of times where the fluky Robert Turbin and like Frank Gore red zone touchdowns come in, but for the most part, I mean, more than half of these touchdowns come through the air. So on the road against the Raiders, I mean, they like to give up big plays in the passing game. I think Moncrief should be back this week. That helps out Luck in the red zone. But for me, I mean, all three tight ends, he makes serviceable. Obviously, T.Y. Hilton's been a big factor in the passing game. I don't see them kind of going out and putting up a goose egg this week.
Ooh. Robert Turbin touchdowns are. So I would say that John Kuhn game was worse, but I actually kind of enjoyed watching my money go down the drain while John Kuhn stole red zone targets from Kobe Fleener. This was just pain. This was a lot of pain. Robert Turbin touchdowns are just the absolute worst thing on this entire earth, I think, if you really want to put things in perspective. So, yeah, I think against this Raiders team, going to be a lot of chunk plays. So T.Y. Hilton, obvious stack. Is there anyone else you're looking to stack with him or just kind of naked luck?
Just naked luck. I mean, if Moncrief is out, I mean, you can use a punt Jack Doyle, but for the most part, it's just I'm going to be using Hilton.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. Next one here is pretty interesting. Rodgers versus the Vikings, 6,700, must win for the Packers. They've been a machine the last few weeks. Ty Montgomery emerging as the running back there, exactly what they needed. Vikings still without Harrison Smith. I guess, what's your view on how he distributes this and how this game goes?
I mean, last week, obviously, didn't throw a touchdown. Could have, but didn't. If you want to blame Devontae Adams, but whatever.
I mean, yeah,
we can do
can.
that. We'll say that for another day. But
Okay.
I expect them to handle business at home. You look at Minnesota's defense; it's been very vulnerable of late. Over the last about 4 weeks, they've been along the lines of Tennessee and Oakland. Two defenses that we usually target. So below 6K, I mean, got a little bit of a price drop due to the matchup and obviously last week's performance. But I mean, you still look at they're going to move the ball against this team at home, a team that, is a little bit injured. There's just so many weapons. I mean, Ty Montgomery out of the backfield just gives them another kind of dynamic to that offense.
Jared Cook, 6 for 80 last week. That's another guy they can use. And yeah, Harrison Smith, that's a big loss. Like, he's really, really, really good in both the passing game and in run help. So yeah, tough matchup for the Vikings to say the least. I think Aaron Rodgers is a good call as a cash game guy. GPP quarterbacks threw in Marcus Mariota at 6K against the Jaguars. What are you looking at here?
The price, I mean, relatively cheap, 6K for a guy with some rushing upside. Has a 26 DK point ceiling over his last 8 games, and I mean, fourth highest yards per completion, near 12. So, a pretty good matchup here. I think he's got some kind of intriguing stacking options. I think people will kind of go to DeMarco Murray this week because of running backs not necessarily being as solid as they are in the previous few weeks, but Mariota, I mean, to save some salary here, completed 18 to 22 last time out against Jacksonville, has been pretty efficient. Tough matchup against Kansas City, and any kind of real quarterback going into Arrowhead is not going to be coming out usually with a great game. So I'll give him a pass there. On the road, this is a must win for Tennessee to kind of keep their hopes alive. I like Mariota. I think he comes out and has a decent game. I mean, it's kind of borderline cash because of that price tag is such a big drop, but probably more of a GPP play.
Certainly. Next one here, Drew Brees in the dome. Sort of a hoping for a rebound performance against this Buccaneers defense that's actually looked pretty good. But Brees at home, we all know that. Is that what you're looking at here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what his ownership is this week. I mean, another guy, whenever he's at home, he's borderline cash. Um, but obviously, I think the Bucks have been playing quite well. You still look at the total. I mean, 4 touchdowns. Obviously, coming off a huge game against Arizona. But I mean, this is a guy who does have 30 plus DK point upside. We've seen it numerous times throughout the years. And really, New Orleans offense has kind of been focused on the pass because the running game's just been so inconsistent this year. Usually, we get kind of a balanced attack at times with Ingram or Hightower playing pretty well, but it's been pretty mixed. So I like Breeze this week. I mean, he's expensive. I think that's the one thing. There's still a little bit of volatility there. I mean, I feel.
Yeah, there certainly is. Cooks obviously has those big weeks. I actually think Michael Thomas is the higher floor option of the group. Well, I don't know what to do with Willie Snead at this point. He's just a mess in terms of when to start him. Is there someone in particular you're liking more than the other?
It's Thomas. I mean, I like Hooks and Thomas this week. I can't do the Fleener dance anymore. 2 weeks ago I was done. It was just drove a stake through my heart. I'm done with Fleener.
I feel you. Last one, kind of a surprise in a little bit here. Tyrod Taylor at 5,400, over the man, the myth, the legend, Blake Bortles at 5K. Tyrod facing the Dolphins. Obviously mediocre to below average defense. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, I mean, we were joking around with this Bills team kind of being the spoilers. That's all they play for these days
Yeah.
yesterday. But Tyrod Taylor, I mean, interesting guy. I like Blake Bortles, as you kind of talked about it before. I think he's a reasonable option, for a tournament because he's cheap. You can stack him with Marquise Lee and Robinson, who are also cheap. So, but Taylor, 5,400, I mean, is going to give you a reasonable 15 to 20 point DK floor, but also kind of can go above that if he can get those touchdowns, on the ground and also get those rushing yards. So, put up 24 last time out against Miami. At home here, I mean, reasonable matchup against this Miami team that I feel is just kind of misleading in terms of defense. I mean, a decent fantasy defense of late, but overall, I don't really see them kind of having a tremendous game. I think they just have to kind of really hope that the turnovers come about. Because I did talk about Miami being a defense to possibly look at in GPPs, but as you always say, there's two sides of the coin.
Two sides of the coin, man. So I think you can go McCoy, but Tyrod to Watkins, sort of that underrated combo still that I'm actually still entertaining. Watkins obviously hasn't brought it to the house yet, but I mean, we've seen him before get 2 catches for 150 yards. So I certainly think he's a viable along with Tyrod. Is there anyone else you want to throw in there as sort of a tournament play, or is this kind of the base here?
It's kind of the base. I mean, Derek Carr, I'm not quite sure what to make of him in that home matchup. Matt Ryan's another intriguing one. Cam Newton. That game, obviously, I think you can take a look at in tournaments as well. So, there's a lot of quarterback options, but Matt Ryan and Cam Newton are probably the other two I'd focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. So as always, thanks for tuning in. And if you like what we're doing on the all YouTube channel here, you can give us a like and subscribe. If you don't like what we're doing, you can give us a thumbs down and troll us in the comments, which I quite enjoy. You can talk about the bass in the background. Or you can just, go to dailyfantasycafe.com and read the rest of Jason's article here. And, hopefully win this week. One less point than me, fellas and ladies. That's all we need. So as always, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in week 17.